I think the other one was but you can correct me if I heard you incorrectly. You were asking whether I could share the information with the commission. Okay, now firstly the engaging government departments or institutions. We, besides the Sahrc local municipality where I am based, we have not really engaged the other spheres of government and the department of road and transport. But the affiliates of and National Land Movement in their taken up issues with the municipality and I think mostly with the municipalities in their areas as I indicate. So there's been no real engagement with other spheres of government at that level, but with Xalusa, there's been communication. Xalusa, which is one of the affiliates of TCOE, that is the Trust for Community and Education, that is based in Sahrc. There have been some engagements with the municipality, with the province, the premier about the failings of the municipality, and there's also been engagements with the national minister of COGTA about the situation specifically in Sahrc. Now, the presentation. I mean, I can share what I prepared. And as for recommendations, I must say, I mean, I don't have structured recommendations at the moment, but I can, on top of my head, say that I think one of the challenges is the service providers that have been used to address some of the problems of road infrastructure. You'd get a service provider working on a stretch of road. Before they finish it, it's damaged again. So I think either Sanral, I mean, where it is affected, or the Department of Road and Transport in the province and the districts, they need to seriously consider building their internal capacities so that they do not depend on service providers, because service providers would cut corners because they would want to save as much as they can so that it gets into their becomes their profits rather than doing decent jobs. I mean, I have examples. The road between Indwe and Yogi through Elliot is being reworked now for the second time. It was worked within 5 years. It was damaged. I mean, the company had to come back again. The road between Ala and Ingcobo, the third road now, I'm talking about the third roads. I mean, I don't know how many times the potholes have, companies have been brought in to fill up potholes, but within the same year, the potholes are as bad as they were before the company came in. So for me, it's the problem is the service providers, but also failure of government institutions to monitor and manage these projects. I think government needs to improve on monitoring and managing their contracts better.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ngapai, for your responses. Unless there are panelists, I will ask if you have any closing remarks.
You are cutting. I can't hear you now.
Can you hear me now? Are you able to hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you.
Thank you. I am indicating that we have come to the end of our engagement, sir, and I would like to offer you closing remarks.
Yes, I hear you now.
Yes. I would like to offer you closing remarks if you have any.
To the citizens of the country. So we are thankful about this, and we would really appreciate if we could be kept informed of the processes and the outcomes of the process. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Ngapai, your presentation, are you able to submit it in writing to us, please?
Yes, I can submit it. I mean, I can submit. I can submit it.
We will appreciate that, sir. With that, then we wish you a good afternoon and thank you very much. Thank you.
Please proceed. The panel will just take 5 minutes whilst you set up, and then we will proceed.
Siphelile. Senamugela, I am Commissioner Nduli as indicated by Dr. Kata, and I'm the chair of this inquiry. I'm joined by Dr. Kata on my right, as well as Dr. Fobosi on my left, and together we make up the panel this afternoon. Before we begin, can I just get an indication if any of you have any objections to taking the oath this afternoon? Please speak to the microphone.
Hello. Good afternoon, Commissioner. I've got no objections in taking the oath.
Thank you, sir.
Me too, Commissioner. I don't have an objective.
Thank you very much. Then may I kindly ask you to please stand. Please read your full names, surname, institution that you represent, as well as the position that you occupy for the record, please.
Good afternoon, Commissioner. My name is Nomo Ndekeza. I am the Portfolio Councillor at ADM under Infrastructure and Engineering Services.
Good morning, Commissioner. My name is Kumbuzo Yoko. I'm the Senior Manager within the Engineering Department at Amatori District Municipality. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Having indicated no objections to taking the oath, do you swear that the evidence you shall give this morning will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, kindly raise your right hand and individually declare, "So help me God."
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you very much. You are duly sworn in. You may be seated. Ms. Geza and Mr. Yoko, you will have about 30 minutes to offer us your submission this afternoon on the basis of the questions that the Commission would have asked, and thereafter the panel will engage with you. Over to you.
Through you, Chairperson, I will hand over to Mr. Yoko to do the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Chair, I have a couple of slides, about 23 of them. I won't waste time because they are not very thick in terms of information, but I would request that I go through each and every one of them. Next slide. Those are just the points that I will be talking to, the quick background, the functional units, RAMS, intervention, transport grant, according to DORA, RAMS 3-year program, the road network extent, condition of paved roads in the district, condition of unpaved roads in the district, the maintenance plans, method of prioritization, other ADM interventions linked to roads and transport. Then I will talk to paved network needs. Next slide. I believe we have been called to respond in as far as those 246 roads are concerned. The access road leading to Mantlane in Lusikisiki, that road is found within OR Tambo, and it's a provincial road in terms of the function, or in terms of the authority. The next one, Zikudi community in Kofumvaba, that one is in Chris Hani. It's also a provincial road. Tefalofefe Hospital from Butterworth. It's also a provincial road, but that one is within ADM. Access road R351 in Kwaju. That one is in Chris Hani district, but it is a provincial road. Ibala community. That one is also Chris Hani, also a provincial road. Kala in Ngocha. That one is also in Chris Hani, but also a provincial road. We thought let's advise, because we do sit with province, we do have platforms where we discuss all transport and road related interventions. Without misrepresenting the department, they are also currently busy with the road assessment and will develop their own road asset management system that will assist in terms of planning. Because it's only through a system where you develop maintenance plans, which are priority projects for the next financial year. So they are also starting that process that we have already started as districts. Next slide. This is just a photo of where Mantlaneni is. You'll see the road starts from a village and joins another village. It's a DR road. That means it's a district road. Unfortunately, the names have not changed since the roads were transferred to province. So they are still called DR roads. They are not a responsibility of the district. But it's just the name that still stands. Those are provincial roads. Even that one is joining two villages. It's a DR road, meaning it's a provincial road. Ipala, even that one is a DR road, meaning it's a provincial road. Kwatyu is also a DR road. Tafelofefe is also a DR road, even though it ends within a village, which would most probably make it a local municipality road, but it's not. There are certain provincial roads that end within a village. So all those roads are provincial roads. Even this one in Gala, that's a provincial road. As I've said earlier, Commissioner, that even those roads, all of them are within other district municipalities. Only one road is within Amatole district municipality, the one that's in Butterworth. Then, next slide. Next slide. Okay. That one is the legislative framework. Where we come from, just who is ADM in as far as legislation is concerned. ADM is a WSA and WSB, which is they are a water services authority and both a water services provider in line with the Municipal Systems Act. That's the only function that the district does. Amatole, to be specific. They are only responsible for water and sanitation. I accept the fact that there might be districts that might not be water authorities. They have other functions, but ADM, in terms of the legislation, they are only a WSA and a WSB. So they are only responsible for two services, water and sanitation. The roads function, the DR roads that we were talking about were given to province early in 2003. I still remember when I joined ADM in 2003, the process of handing over was just started. So all those roads were handed over to province so that they are the ones who are the authority. But in terms of Section 84 of the Municipal Structures Act, the ADM has a responsibility in as far as planning is concerned. We are responsible for regulation of passenger transport services within the district. We are also responsible for the development of a transport strategy and a plan for the district. Here we're talking about the ITP, Integrated Transport Plan. We do have one for the district. The local municipalities also have local ones. There is that support that we currently provide to the LMs in line with the legislation, where when they need support to develop their own local ITPs, we are readily available to give that support. Now, how are we providing this planning support to local municipalities. That will take me to my next slide. We have an intervention that was initiated by the National Department of Transport, which is RAMS, Road Asset Management System. The department identified a need of assisting road authorities, the local municipalities, where it was realized that in terms of planning, there seems to be a gap. There is no system that could be used to prioritize road projects. This program started some time back. This system has been developed, is currently being updated, because just like any other system, you have to update the data that you feed to the system. So we are doing that. We are collecting road data once in 3 years. There's also other types of information that we collect. The aim of the system is to equip municipalities in developing a planning tool for prioritizing transport or road infrastructure projects. Through this system, you can develop a maintenance plan, which is a prioritization or a prioritized list of projects, of roads projects, for each and every local municipality. The grant requires that we develop that at the end of May for each LM within our area of jurisdiction. We do that using the system. We give to the LMs, saying, LMs, these are your worst roads in your local municipality that you can prioritize for the next financial year. So we do that. So that's our role in as far as the planning role is concerned. It's only through the system, developing the system, upgrading the system, and using the system to develop these maintenance plans, these priority projects for each and every LM. This is just a shot of the DORA. It just communicates the grant that districts get to develop this rural asset management system. It's the Rural Road Asset Management System grant. The outputs are clear. It says that through this system, the district must do a road, collect the road condition data. The law says, or the guidelines says, for roads, you only collect data once in 3 years. It makes sense because a road project to be implemented will not take less than a year. It will take anything between 2 to 3 years to complete roads, because the roads are not straightforward in terms of construction. You have a stringent planning process, you have the actual construction, you have a defects liability period. So it takes about 2 to 3 years to finish. So it was agreed that let's rather do the assessments once in 3 years, so that you can give allowance to those projects that will be completed in that particular cycle. So the outputs are the road conditions. We also collect traffic data, like we know which roads, how many vehicles travel each and every road in the district, because that will tell you the importance of that road. It will tell you that road is under pressure if there's too much traffic. That means it will tell you that those are the types of roads that need to be maintained. We also collect data on condition of structures. Here we're talking about the bridges as well as culverts. All these small bridges and culverts found in the roads of the local municipalities. The data is there in terms of the type of bridge, the condition of the bridge. So we have that information. We also do a borrow pit management data. In gravel roads, we use gravel that you get from the borrow pits. So we assisted the LNs by assessing all the borrow pits, test them, so that we know which quality, because roads, the gravel that is used depends on where the road is and also what are the prevailing conditions before you can decide the type of gravel you must use. So we do have that information. This information is key for the LMs because it's the kind of information that they would have spent money to collect. It's a planning information that is required upfront before you can start appointing a contractor. So that's the role, I mean, that's the type of planning that has been provided by the district to our local municipalities, even though the function might not be a district function, but we still continue to play that planning role by providing all relevant planning documents, all relevant planning information. That is just a 3-year program. What we've been doing, we're currently on 23, 24. What is key, again, that gets me excited to mention there is the stormwater infrastructure maintenance plan. During the heavy rains, there were towns that were flooded. I believe Alice was one of them. So we're saying through this RAMS program, let's do stormwater infrastructure maintenance plans for all these areas that are prone to disasters. We've done that. We've shared the plan with the local municipalities. It becomes easier for them now when they implement their projects. They just look at the stormwater infrastructure maintenance plan and say, does this road I'm about to construct encroaches this floodplain? What does this plan tell me? Because this plan will tell you that this road on that corner, that's a floodplain. When it rains, it's going to flood. So you need to lift your road, or you need to put in the culverts under the road in that particular area. So we've done this. This has been the highlight of the 23-24 financial year. So there's quite a lot of interventions that we do through this process, because our aim is to motivate the LMs that use this system to prioritize your roads. We are not winning currently, I must say, because local municipalities, they are local municipalities in their own right. They are municipalities in their own right. They have their way of prioritizing projects, which we cannot interfere. But we are saying here is a system that you can use to prioritize. We are still engaging with the relevant partners. We've talked to the Department of Transport, saying, Department, we have the system, but assist us to motivate as well to our local municipalities to use this system to prioritize. We are also talking to the Department of Transport in the province. We're also talking to Sahrc, saying we need to maximize this system. We are hoping very soon we will win. Then this next slide. Next slide. The next slide. This one is just talking to the road network in the district. We have a total of 5,805 kilometers of road, both paved, which is the tar roads, and unpaved. In Amahlati, there's about 567 in terms of the total kilometers of road, broken down in those types. We have flexible, we have block, we have concrete, and so on. So this is quite a very critical information for our local municipalities. The next slide. This one is just talking to the condition of the paved roads. By nature, the paved roads of the local municipalities will not be as bad as those high traffic roads, which explains why this table. In Amahlati, there's about 10% of poor roads. It's interesting, you don't find a local municipality with very, very poor paved roads. But you'll see, when it comes to gravel roads, that's another story. In Amahlati, 10% are poor. About 40% of the paved roads are fair. About 27% are good, and about 20% very good, and so on and so on. So we prepare this graph once in 3 years because we want to see that progress. There should be progress, because even today in our local municipalities there are tar roads that are being upgraded, that are being constructed. So that's why we're going to give them 2 to 3 years. Then we're going to assess the roads again so that we can see if there's a trend, there's an improvement. Then the next slide, okay, that one. Condition of unpaved roads, those are gravel roads. You'll see the picture is quite different. Everyone knows that the gravel roads in the province are very bad. The West local municipality is Nguma, where about 82% of the gravel roads are very poor. So a lot needs to happen. That's where the intervention needs to come in. Then the next slide. Here, this one is just detailing the maintenance plans that I've talked to, where we said at the end of May each year, we pull information from RAM system and generate maintenance plans, which are just projects, priority projects. Obviously, those are the worst roads that each and every local municipality must look at in terms of prioritizing projects for the next financial year. Next slide. This is just the method of prioritization that each and every third year we do data collection. We walk. We have students, graduates who walk these routes and do visual condition assessment. So the information that is there in the system has all those roads have been walked. It's the information that is not only on the ground but also on the system itself. If I had time, I would maybe possibly log in the system, then you'll see that and compare and pick just one road and ask someone from that area. You'll see the system is trying its best to make sure that the information that is on the ground is exactly the same that is on the system. So the next two slides are just detailing the process of prioritizing so that we understand where we come from or how did we reach to a list of, let's say, 5 roads that we feel are the priority in each LM. It's just a process, Chairperson. It starts with collection of the data. It then comes with prioritization indicators. We look at the road condition, the traffic volume. Obviously, you cannot upgrade a road that only has one vehicle using it once a year or once a month. You can't. So you look at road traffic, you also look at road classification. What type of road is it? Is it a access road? Is it an internal road? And so on. Then you develop a prioritization method. So there's been a science behind generating these maintenance plans for the local municipalities. Next slide. Next slide. Okay. What is the other intervention that we've done as the district as we are doing planning? I believe in 2021 or 2020 or 2021, we prepared a PS plan. This PS plan was a feasibility study into the upgrading of roads that lead to tourism routes, economic hubs, cultural hubs, social institutions. So we're saying to contribute to economic development, what is the enabler? The enabler is roads. Let's prepare a PS plan and see if we can get funding for all these roads that lead to these economic potential areas like tourism, hotels, and so on. The PS plan was done and it was submitted to the PICC targeting the PFI funding, but sadly it was not approved. We understand that it's very cumbersome to secure funding, especially these big amounts, billions of rands. What we were advised was, you've prepared a PS plan, but we need more information. Prepare now we call it a preliminary investigation and design report. Now that's when you start getting to expenses as the author of the PS plan. We cannot do that as the district because roads are not our function. The least we could do as the district is to take the PS plan and share with the LMs, saying, LMs, here's the PS plan. Use it, take out all the areas, and take the process forward. The next stage is a preliminary investigation and design. Do it, then resubmit to PICC or any other grant for that matter that will be listening. So that's just one of the other interventions that we as a district, we have done. Okay, this next slide. This one is just communicating the network needs in the district for the paved roads. What needs to be done? Like in Amahlati, a small percentage of roads, they just need preventative maintenance. It is just blading or just spraying the tar road or fixing those few potholes, nothing major, but a small percentage in Amahlati. Then the next group is about 6 kilometers. It's green. It needs special maintenance. There you spend more money. There might be sections that you need to cut out and replace with new sections, especially those failing areas, but not the whole road. Then you come to red. It's rehabilitation. Here you need major reconstruction of the road. You find that for a 10 kilometer, you might need to reconstruct 5 kilometers from like you don't jump, you don't skip, or you don't jump any areas. It's just a rehabilitation. So it's clear in our district, rehabilitation is the most treatment that is required, which explains why so much money is required to attend to these roads. This is just the costs, estimated costs for paved networks. In Amahlati, Amahlati needs about 34 million for rehabilitation. In total, they need about 49 million. Then, and so on and so on. But in total, as the district, local municipalities need about 246 million to treat their paved roads. Let me apologize. I thought I had a slide talking to the same type of information for unpaved roads, but we do have that information. I see now it has not been captured. So all in all, this is the last slide. All in all, we as the district, we are playing our role in line with legislation, the role of planning. We could do more, but unfortunately, the fact that we are a water and sanitation authority, municipality, we cannot. We have to put all our resources into water and sanitation. That's what the law requires. That was my last slide. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yoko. Thank you, Makeza. As I have then indicated, the panel will engage. Shall we start with you, Dr. Carter?
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you to the municipality, the district, for the quite a comprehensive presentation. I do have one or two pointed questions, though, and I think you have actually alluded to almost what would be your own frustration, is that we can only lead the horse to the water, but we cannot make it drink. Now, from my cursory assessment in terms of the business plans that is required, maybe you can just clarify this for me. At a certain point at the end of May, those business plans need to be submitted. Is that correct? And that business plan is then presented to qualify for this RAMS, if I'm correct. My first question is, are you receiving the necessary data from the local municipalities to be able to submit these business plans? If not, why not? And who are the culprits? Then secondly, if you indicate that unfortunately the business plans were not, or the submitted business plan was not approved, does that mean that the fiscal support basically for your municipality has yet to kick in for this RAMS program? I think I'll start there. I may have one or two follow-up questions based on your answers, just to provide me with a bit more of an understanding in terms of this procedure. Because if I try and superimpose the process of the MIG and the WESIG grants onto this, whether you can give me an indication, is it basically the same process? Deadlines, business plans. If it's not approved, you don't get the money. If you don't spend the money, there's a rollover perhaps. But also, there is most likely a lot of unspent funds as well. So if you can give me a little bit more information on that, I'd be very appreciative. You can proceed with your answer.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you for the answers. RAMS is fully funded. There's not a cent that comes from the districts. It's fully funded, but there are conditions that we need to satisfy as districts who are rolling out RAMS. One of them is submission of the maintenance plans, and submission by end of May, as well as submission of RAMP, the Road Asset Management Plan. We do submit that on time, because we understand if you don't submit it, you will not get the first tranche and so on. So we do submit that. It's only one business plan that we submit once a year at the end of May. We are lucky because it's only one project. Then, in terms of the support that we're getting from local municipalities, there's a condition that when we update data, local municipalities need to share with us the projects they have completed in the previous financial year or in the current financial year, so that we can update our graphs as well. If last financial year, Amahlati, for instance, was sitting at 10 kilometers of paved roads, and they had 2 projects on the go, then at the end of the financial year, they must tell us how many projects have they completed and what are the lengths, so that we can add, if one project is complete and that project is 1 kilometer long, we can add that 1 kilometer to the 10, so that when we update our system, we know that Amahlati has 11 kilometers. At the beginning, it was a struggle, because there was other information like what is their budget for the financial year, because you need to build that in the system as well, because the available budget will tell you how much you need going forward. But I must say, we've been getting information lately. There is a slide in another report where we are using information that we got from Amahlati. They gave us all the information, so we are getting information. At least I've tried to be as honest as possible. We struggled in the beginning, but we are getting information these days. So I can safely say we are happy. Thank you.
Perhaps just then, the business plan you indicated it was not approved. Does that mean the money has not been entering your district?
The business plan that was not approved, it was just an initiative on our part. It's not money that was due or gazetted to ADM, not at all. It was just an intervention on our part of saying, what else can we do to assist our local municipalities? We developed that business plan utilizing the system. We were trying to prove to ourselves and also to anyone out there that the system can also be used to generate a business plan. So we developed that business plan and we submitted it on time. Unfortunately, it was not approved. But there's no funding that was lost in that process, because there's no gazetted funding anyway. We were just taking a chance, going that extra mile.
Okay, so but no funding lost, but no funding coming in on that point, on that specific business plan. I think what I'm saying is there could have been funding that could come to the district if that business plan was approved. Is that correct?
Oh, yes. Oh,
Okay,
yes.
that's what I'm getting at.
Yes.
Okay. So my understanding is that the data comes from the local municipalities where they identify the crucial trigger points, the roads that need immediate attention. That's then put into a business plan by yourselves and submitted to onwards for the RAMs. Is that...
We collect the data ourselves. We collect the data ourselves. We utilize graduates that were sourced from each and every local municipality. But we do have platforms where we engage local municipalities in terms of giving feedback and progress on the program itself. Also, it is our responsibility to talk to the local municipalities as well in terms of what are their plans, so that we can use that information as well to update the system itself.
And from the RAMS program, how much has been spent and how much kilometer has been completed to date?
The RAMS program, the funding is only for the development and updating of the system. Unfortunately, there's no portion for construction.
So this is in fact just a planning program.
It's a planning program, yes.
This morning we heard from colleagues who said, as South Africa, we are great planners, but we are not implementers. So you agree with me that the planning portion of this whole process has been done, but nothing has gone yet to the building of the actual roads.
As much as I would love to agree with you, but what I can say is there are planning projects that are by nature are planning projects. This one is the grant to develop and maintain a system that should be used to give support to local municipalities who get grant for roads from Treasury. So that's where we meet as local municipalities. Yeah.
So the funding was specifically for the planning process. Okay. And that then needs to be furthered by the local municipalities themselves from their own grants, which they would apply for through the municipal infrastructure or whichever avenue.
Yes.
I got it. All right. Thank you so much. Commissioner?
Thank you, Dr. Fobosi.
Thank you, Commissioner. And thank you, colleagues, for your presentation, Mr. Yoko. Much appreciated. Just one question, only one question. My colleague has covered a lot. Please just share the plan, the municipality's plan to improve the condition of the unpaved road. What is the plan? Thank you.
Let me not refer to the slides anymore. Let me just talk. District, ADM, does not have the road function. We have 3 road authorities. We have Sahrc for the freeways. We have provincial roads that were previously known as DR roads for province. Then you have internal roads for local municipalities. So those are the 3 authorities who are best suited to talk to the question, like what are their plans, because they do generate plans for either construction or road maintenance. As that said, our role, I've just unpacked the role that is played by the district, not only ADM, but the district at large, where we were identified by DOT. DOT said, districts, come and continue to play your support role to LMs. This is how you should support LMs, by developing this system that will be used by the LMs to prioritize roads. I don't want to speculate where they were coming from with this program, but assume there have been challenges with prioritizing roads. You'll find that possibly the fact that there's no system, it will take time for a municipality to arrive at which roads to construct next year. There'll be back and forth discussions, I assume within council, in terms of saying, no, let's take all of this money, let's plow it in Ward 4 and 5. The other ward councillors will complain, say, no, what about my ward 6 and 7, and so on and so on. So it was realized that there's a gap. We need a system that will not discriminate, so to speak, but it will be a system that will be used using the information on the ground, like the current condition of roads, the traffic on those roads, as well as the road type. So there will be a system that will be used by all local municipalities to avoid this quarreling, this back and forth. Thank you.
No, thank you very much, Mr. Yoko. I just want to go back to the question asked by Dr. Carter on my right. On the RAMS grant, are you confirming that you received the grant and distributed to municipalities, or municipalities apply for the grant themselves on the basis of the management plan that you would have developed? Can you just confirm and clarify that, please?
District municipalities receive the grant. It's gazetted for districts. It's called the Rural Roads Asset Management System grant. It goes straight to the districts to do this, to develop and maintain the system. There's no exchange of money from district to LMs.
So the grant is, let's talk about the latest grant that you received. How much was the last grant, the RAMS grant that you received?
The district received 3.11, about 3.1 million.
How is this 3.1 million used?
We have a specification that was developed by the Department of Transport. So we use the specification to develop a tender document. That specification details what needs to be done in this program. It starts with the collection of data, the collection of road condition data, traffic data, condition of structures, borrow pit management data, safety assessment data. So there's quite a lot of items or topics that are generated, that are given through that specification, so that we develop our own schedule of quantities. We develop a tender document. Just like any other project, you develop the scope, then you utilizing the specification. We're lucky the specification has been developed by DOT. That details exactly from 1 to 10 what needs to be done. So we use that.
Okay, so what has the 3.1 million paid for in terms of the specification that would have then been developed by transport? When you received the grant of 3.1, who did you pay, and what services were being paid for?
If we go to the slide talking to RAM's 3-year program, and then
Siko, can you just assist with the slide? I don't know who's assisting with the slide. Okay, can you, which page, which slide number?
It's number 13.
Slide number 13.
Okay. We are
Can proceed, Solo.
We are currently in the second year. Okay, let's talk about the first year, 22-23. Those are the activities that were done in the first year. The road network inventory update, the inventory, all the infrastructure found in the road. They'll have to walk it, look at it, assess it, get pictures, and document that. So that was done. The road visual condition assessment. We assessed the road. Everything that is done here is done as advised by that specification that was developed by DOT. Of May, we do those. We also did the road asset management plan. It's a document that gives what are you planning in the next financial year. It's some sort of a business plan for the next financial year. So that was done. Also, there's a couple of workshops that are done, like that talk to training on the system, as well as workshopping these maintenance plans, trying to motivate the LMs to use the documents, plain documents that we give them. So those are just the activities that were done. There are also activities in the second year and the third year. All these activities are clearly captured in the tender document itself.
Yes. So maybe just to assist us to understand, the Department of Roads and Transport gives you the specifications. You go out on tender, you get a service provider, and then they implement their role as per the specifications. Outside of advertising a tender, what becomes the role of ADM? It seems like you are just a middleman. Could this...
When they identify the district, but they identify the district as the closest municipalities to the people. There's been a word that was used like they were capable. The monies won't be lost or won't disappear. Also, this is a planning tool. It was clear that it's the district who have that responsibility in line with the Structures Act in terms of planning, because ORAMS is a planning tool. It's not a construction project. Also, if you go to DORA, there's a clause there. It's a pity this one has been cut. There's a information there that says you need to get an independent practitioner when you roll out this kind of a program. So it is there on the DORA that you need to have an independent road practitioner. Thank you.
Okay, so you are confirming that outside of advertising the tender, there's no other role that ADM has in terms of RAMS?
We do.
ADM do, because the collection of data and the development of the draft plan is all done, is paid for by 3.1 million.
Yes.
So what, outside of advertising the tender, what does ADM do?
We have the specification itself that guides. We have the DORA that guides. Can I complete?
Yes.
If you look at the DORA itself, it's got all responsibilities of national, responsibilities of province, responsibilities of the receiving municipality, the district in this case. So it's got all the responsibilities. So we play those, or we fulfill those responsibilities.
Yes, sir. I'm asking you, what are those responsibilities outside of advertising the tender? Because the specification you are saying you receive from the Department of Transport, and then you advertise the tender, you get a service provider, and then they play their role in terms of the specs. So what is the role of ADM as a district?
Apart from project managing the project itself, our plan is to take over some of the responsibilities that are done by this external practitioner and do it ourselves. We've started with that kind of a plan where we're saying what is the first activity. We are doing those processes very soon, when we advertise next time, there are certain activities that we're going to take out and say these ones will be done by ADM employees. That's where we are going.
Okay, no, thank you, Mr. Yoko, that's helpful. So that is future thinking and planning, to say you are planning in the future that some of your own internal employees will take over the functions of the service provider. But let's talk from now backwards. Outside of advertising the tender, what else is the role of ADM? We understand the future plan, it's quite clear, but I'm trying to understand this tripartite relationship between transport, yourselves, and the service provider, and your specific role. You've advertised a tender, you've received money, you've advertised a tender, you've gotten a service provider. What do you do in terms of this tripartite role?
We have platforms. We have a DWIF chaired by our portfolio councillor, the district-wide infrastructure forum, where all municipalities attend. We table this item and advise and give feedback in terms of the status of the program, because we try to motivate that this is a system that must be used. The system has been loaded in our laptops. In fact, it's on cloud. It's been loaded. The credentials have been shared with the local municipalities. We have started to be more involved in terms of training. Our employees, the team that drives the program, is rotating. They are visiting local municipalities and using the system themselves, because we accept the fact that we cannot continue utilizing consultants on this program. But we need to be very careful. We need to be, as much as we need to be progressive, but we need to take calculated risks of saying.
A slide, if maybe that can also be flighted, on the conditions of paved and unpaved roads, those graphs, which you said you update on a 3-year basis. And you have rightfully said that naturally an improvement must be shown every 3 years. Are you able to give us supporting graphs that show maybe the last 3 other years, so that we can see whether or not there has been an improvement in terms of the conditions of the paved and the unpaved roads?
We usually, on an annual basis, we prepare a ramp, road asset management plan. We do have a graph showing that. I'm trying to download it here quickly, just to check, but there is minor improvement. Roads projects take time. That's why we are not allowed to do assessment on an annual basis, because a simple road project will take minimum of 2 years. So there is a slight improvement, but it won't be that visible, because you'll find out the money that is available is far less as compared to what the system is advising in terms of what is required to meet the backlog. But there is a very slight improvement.
Okay, no, thank you, sir. Then the last question is, maybe the second last question, is just if we can go back to that slide of the condition of the paved roads. If you look at the slide and then you look at the other one on the rehabilitation of paved roads, we'll just look at the paved roads for now, because we don't have data on the rehabilitation of unpaved roads. You look at the condition of the paved roads, and you have very few that are in poor condition, according to this. The majority are either very good, or fair. But when you go to the rehabilitation slide, if we can just go forward a little bit, that's, no, that's the condition of the unpaved road. No, it was also a graph. Yes, so it's that slide, but there is a slide with a graph that you showed us. On, yes, the paved network needs. What slide is this? 21, yes. Now, one is trying to reconcile the relationship between that previous graph that shows that the majority of your paved road network is either in good or fair condition, with this slide that shows that the majority is under a condition that needs serious rehabilitation. And then obviously the next slide, which Dr. Carter was showing me, which shows then the cost breakdown for the rehabilitation. Are you able to clarify for us the relationship between these? If we are saying on the one hand, our paved roads are in good condition, but then on the other hand, we are saying our paved roads are in serious need of rehabilitation. How do we reconcile the two?
We can't compare the cost to rehabilitate paved roads against unpaved ones. Paved roads tend to be very expensive when you rehabilitate them.
So let me assist before you
Okay.
proceed further,
Yes.
just so that we don't go off in the wrong direction.
All right.
We are only talking about paved roads here. The one slide,
Which slide? Can we give
maybe
the
let's
name to the
speak,
slide?
can you? If you look at 21
21.
versus, what's the
Versus?
other slide? No, the other graph.
22
Versus 15.
versus 50.
So 15 versus 21. You look at 15, it says to you that across the district, the majority of your roads, maybe Ms. Keza, you can assist, the majority of your roads are either very good, good or fair condition. That is the information you are giving. Then you go to 21, and it says the majority of your roads are at the state of needing serious rehabilitation, and you have explained to us the difference between rehabilitation, special maintenance, and preventative maintenance, where you have said that those that need rehabilitation are in a seriously bad condition. So that is what I'm trying to reconcile, sir.
Okay. Okay. Just give me a few seconds. Commissioner, I'm not sure how else I can explain, because this is the information that is in these graphs have been derived from the data that has been collected. Secondly, we on slide, let me go to that slide. On slide 21, that red there is just it represents the kilometers. It does not represent the amount money. It's just a comparison with the other colors based on kilometers. It could have been scaled differently. It's not financially related. It's just a scale, that's all. It could have been scaled. Maybe if that red was smaller than that, it's just a scale. It does not give, it's not financially related. It doesn't give that, does not mean red is a lot of money. It's just a comparison between rehabilitation and special maintenance and preventative maintenance. It only means the majority of roads in Nquma require rehabilitation, while only a few require preventative maintenance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Yoko, I'm going to also ask Dr. Carter maybe to come in and speak to the money aspect. For now, I'm not asking about the money aspect. You are rightfully saying that graph is saying to you the majority of the roads in a particular area, paved roads, need rehabilitation. Now, when you go to slide 15, it says the majority of the roads are in a good condition. You understand? We haven't spoken about money yet. We are just talking about the condition of the road. The one is saying the condition of the paved road is very good or fair. The other one is saying the condition of the road is in a state that it needs dire rehabilitation. You understand? Now, how do we reconcile the two? Because both things can't be right at the same time. You understand?
I'm saying, Commissioner, you can't look at it like that when you compare the two, because one graph is talking about percentages. The first one, the condition of paved roads, and the other one is talking about kilometers. So it's going to be confusing when you look at these colors. The fact of the matter is the red means poor, and you'll see in Bashe, it has the most red in terms of the condition and the paved. Then it only makes sense, I'm going to go back there. In Bashe and Nquma, it only makes sense that it's also those two who are worse off with Nquma. It depends on the actual. Both two roads can be very poor, but in terms of the treatment, one might be cheaper than the other. That's why I'm saying these colors here, they are all depend on the scale. It could have been smaller, maybe it would have made a difference. But there is data that informs these graphs. We might not have time now to go through the data, but it's something that can be provided so that the Commission can see where these figures are coming from. Because these figures have not been thumbsuck. They are based on the kilometers of rehabilitation needed. They are based on the treatment that is needed. So there is data backing up these figures. So what if we had time, we would have provided data that talks to each and every graph. It would have been easier for me to unpack like that.
Okay, no, thank you. In the interest of time, I'll hand over to Dr. Carter. She has one question, but I hope she'll also speak to the financial. Your response is not quite clear, but I'll hand over to Dr. Carter.
Thank you, Commissioner. I think our position is just that in terms of your own slide, you indicate that in terms of kilometers, the majority of the roads, and we can use Nquma as an example, is in a fair, very good or good position. That's your graph here on 15. And then we say that the majority of that same municipality's roads need rehabilitation. Okay. And then even the kilometers, it says there, okay. But the amount even is speaking to 180, 73% of the budget which will go to that rehabilitation. I think we'll interrogate the numbers a bit more when you submit the rest of the data. My final question is, it's a yes or a no. After all of these plans have been developed and paid for, are the local municipalities bound by developing these specific roads, or can they still decide on their own which roads they want to push their budget towards? Microphone.
The DORA, I'm looking at the grant now. If we can, the slide number 12. It says there under output, the last bullet point, that prioritized roads, prioritized project list for roads to inform municipal infrastructure grant project selection. It's talking to the local municipalities. So it's in it is there, the condition.
Are they bound? Can they still decide to develop something else? I want to know, are they bound by this document? Are they?
That question, Commissioner, has been discussed by the stakeholders, by the districts, because we kept on asking that, is this requirement strong enough to enforce that clause? It seems like there's still a grey area.
So they don't need to follow any of these programs. They can still, in the council meeting, decide to develop another roads.
Yes.
All right. That's so. For me, all of this is part of the planning, but the actual implementation would still not be enforced. Okay. I think that's all from my side. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you very much. Dr. Fobosi, any follow-up questions? Covered. Okay. Ms. Geza, we haven't heard from you. So let me offer yourselves closing remarks, and hopefully we will be hearing from you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner, for inviting us to this platform. All I can say, as a municipality, we are trying our level best to do whatever we can do. As ADM, we've got only two functions. We've got water and we've got sanitation. Roads and other things, really, they don't really lie on our soldiers. But we are doing what we can do to assist the municipalities to do their work. Thank you, Commissioner.
No, thank you very much, Ms. Geza, and thank you, Mr. Yoko. I think the presentation was quite helpful. We thank you both for your time, and that brings us to the end of our engagement with yourselves. We wish you a good afternoon. You may now be excused. Thank you so much. Dr. Carter.
Okay, we'll be taking a 20-minute lunch break. Apologies for running then 20 minutes over time, and we'll try and make up time as we go along. Thank you so much.